What is up, Sports Wars community? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. I am your master of ceremonies, Pat, and I am being joined by the infamous New Englander, the statistician, the future host of our Cover Free Fantasy Football podcast, Mr. David Larock. David, how are you, sir?
Pat, fantastic. Exciting times. Been on Twitter a lot. Had a Red Bull. That was probably a bad idea. So I'm
Well,
amped.
you're probably going to need it to process everything that's happened within the last 2 hours or so. So for everyone who's watching this video, if you are not aware, and I don't understand how you couldn't be at this point, LeBron James is the latest NBA legend primed to become a Los Angeles Laker. Woj of ESPN leaked the story earlier on, and then he made the official announcement today that LeBron James has agreed to a 4-year deal with the Los Angeles Lakers for $154 million. Now, this little recording here is kind of a special occasion in the sense that it's just me and my longtime buddy David conversing about things for the first time exclusively. Also, June 20th of 2017, David just so happened to accurately predict this whole sequence of events. And it wasn't just a bunch of, usual drunk guy at a bar, sports fan, obnoxious bloviating. He actually lined out tangible reasons why. So I'm going to go ahead and give the floor to David for him to explain what his reasoning was and just his overall reaction to this huge, huge news.
I do like the intro. Appreciate that. So I won't say that I told you so. I will say that I know that you know that I knew. I'll just
Right.
put it that way. It's just the perfect situation with the contracts lining up. I did predict that LeBron would be in LA, but I also predicted Paul George would be in LA. So I struck out on that one. But I did have Brooke Lopez still being there, so I think that's going to be accurate. How the whole thing played out, this decision, I've been saying it since January. It was more than basketball. The only team that he could have gone to beat your Golden State Warriors would be Boston. That wasn't happening for a multitude of reasons.
Right.
Bronny, his son, is a freshman. If you're a freshman, what state, what city do you want to grow up in and go to high school? It's Southern California. It's not Pennsylvania. It's not Philadelphia. It's not hot Houston. Like this is now a family affair. He wanted to run his multimedia business. Space Jam 2's coming out.
Right.
His sports agencies. He has his fingers everywhere. There was a rumor, or I guess a rumor or source, whatever, on Twitter saying that Magic is giving him a minority stake in ownership of the Lakers. Either now, I don't know if they can do that now or if that's like a future handshake deal later on. But again, he wanted to be a first billion-dollar basketball player. He wanted to be an owner. What better guy to do it with than Magic? And LeBron knew, he is so good. He's the destination. No matter if he played on the effing moon, folks will travel to him, and you will see that happening. And he was supposed to make the announcement on Tuesday. I think he did it today, which is Sunday, because Philadelphia was making a massive push for Kawhi. If they got Kawhi, that probably throws a wrench in some things. Obviously, they've been talking. They want to play with each other. Now, San Antonio is literally holding a bag of burning shit in a paper bag because Kawhi's stock, they have no leverage. They have none. LeBron's already in LA without him. So no matter where he goes, unless it's in LA, he's just like, I'm not re-signing. I'm just going to leave anyway.
Yeah.
It's folks think that, LeBron's playing checkers and he's playing chess. A buddy of mine sent me this text. The biggest chess move that he did was forcing the Cavs to get younger early this year. They literally picked the two worst contracts on the fucking Lakers. Larry Nance and Clarkson. Ship them. I mean, does LeBron think that deep? I'm sure he does. But, I mean, that's on another level shit.
We would be led to believe that he is that calculating because, I mean, just look at his tenure. During the whole Miami Heat experiment, 4 years away from home in college, whatever analogy you want to make.
Which is a great analogy.
Exactly. Cleveland falls down to just the lower pits of the league, but they continue to get draft picks and draft picks and draft picks. And next thing you know, they have arguably the second best point guard in the league in Kyrie Irving. Oh, look, after I've got my 2 championships, I can transition back to a team that has some young, fresh talent.
And talent that may or may not stay.
Right.
And that's completely up to him, Magic, and the suits in Hollywood. They're gonna they can rescind Randall's rights, clear that cap up. They can actually extend Dang's contract. I mean, they can free up another max deal and trade for Kawhi. And the list of free agents that are available next year, I mean, just off the top of the list, Kemba, Dame Lillard. Lonzo, I'm pretty sure you're not going to be a Laker.
Probably not.
Especially with Daddy Dearest. I mean, it's right now, if you are a Laker that's not LeBron, I would be worried that you may or may not be on the roster. It's just it's fantastic for the league in general. The league is great when the Lakers are good. And now you have the biggest star 6 hours away from probably the most hated team in the past decade. And so you have it's so many levels of storyline. Imagine this. So imagine they build a super team in LA, right? Boogie Cousins and let's say Kawhi, whatever. I'm just throwing that out there. They face your Warriors Western Conference Finals. Okay. Let's say LeBron wins game 7, whatever. Obviously right. You're painful. So not only does LeBron dethrone the epic Warriors, who would he probably face in the finals?
It writes itself. It goes right back full circle.
It's disgusting.
Celtics.
It's just Adam Silver is probably in a closet with no pants. The storylines are so. You have Lakers, you have Celtics, then you have LeBron, then you have Kyrie, then you have all the Brad Stevens. It's LeBron had to dethrone the Warriors to get it's Hollywood.
Not for nothing, but obviously in America, football is the king league. But for what it's worth, Adam Silver has danced circles around Goodell.
100%. From the gambling to being proactive with fantasy, knowing. I mean, I didn't like how he had the scheduling, 3 days in the finals instead of 2, but whatever. The ratings, he embraced player movement. A lot of folks don't like it, but it's fantastic. We're talking about basketball in June and July. July 4th weekend is now the epitome of Twitter and who's going and who has sources.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
He's been very savvy about growing the reach and the tenure of the NBA season. I think he kind of took some cues from okay, football, they have their real estate from August to February.
Yes.
They're king, period. But they also have this extended period. Oh, well, we have NFL free agency, we have the draft, we have this, that, and the other. Yep. And then they pass the torch to the NBA in April because they know off-season can't complete with playoffs.
Yes.
Well, Adam Silver and his brass are okay, well, we're a star-driven league. We have interesting figures who now do interesting things and move around from one place to another. Why don't we extend our reach further than just after June 15th?
And it's perfect. Basketball, more than any other sport, I guess maybe soccer, it's a face league. We see their faces. In football, the free agency, when it hits, it's floods. And you have 53 people, 52 players, and, the teams get all, tackles here, left guards here. Basketball, you have 12 dudes. And the interpersonal connection, them texting, hey, let's have dinner. It's almost like a what's the word I'm looking for? Like a Desperate Housewives, like that realm reality TV.
Everything happens faster.
Much faster. And the implications, because the league is so player driven and the teams are so small, it's massive. Like, I mean, it firsthand with your Hampton crew, right?
Right. I mean, it's such an interesting and captivating time in the league, and I think a lot of people. I'm not trying to be age discriminatory, but let's be honest. A lot of people from prior generations have been uneasy with this type of stuff, but I feel like even they are starting to come around and realize that this is the norm now. You don't have to be central to one particular location or another in order to build your brand in the age of social media. Now, granted, it's not to say that some locations aren't going to help you do that more. A Bay Area, a New York, a LA, a Chicago, whatever the case.
That only helps.
Yeah, it's more about mobility, and it's more about players being proactive in what they decide that they want to do. It's not always some, domineering figure hanging over their head, directing their path. Like, no, you can only do it this way. I think a part of that generational and cultural shift is why this situation with Kawhi Leonard is what it is.
Yes, I'm 100%. And that bridge is burned, and he'll end up in LA one way or another. And I truly believe LeBron and his camp leaked this. It's no coincidence that 2 hours, 3 hours after his agent, not even LeBron, not even his wife, not even his best friend Maverick, that they sat down with Philly to understand their plan and what they were going to offer. They knew San Antonio might pull the trigger, so hey, let's just leak this little press release and we'll go from there to stop that train. And I'm still in awe. Like, it's fantastic.
Right.
It's great for the league. It is.
Yeah, it's going to take a while for it to fully set in. Of course, all the major media figures are going to have their reaction probably in some official capacity tomorrow. But I mean, Charles Barkley was on the phone for NBA TV on cable not even a half hour ago.
Yeah,
and for him as one of the more iconic figures, who's kind of seen as one of the pillars of prior generation, even he thought like, okay, it's not just exciting, it is genuinely good. I mean, I know that there's a lot of detractors who would say, oh, well, now all the power has shifted into the West. If this happened 2 seasons ago, okay, maybe, but you have a viable championship contender in Boston. You have an up-and-coming team in Philadelphia. It's not just complete dreck in the East like people think it is.
And then obviously some pieces do have to fall. One name that I'm just gonna throw out there now. You're not gonna like it, but a part of me believes Clay's gonna be a Laker. I know he loves Golden State. He loves organically building what they did. He's very sentimental. Him and his dad are very close.
Right.
What's the one thing LeBron loves to play with is shooters. After next year, especially if you guys win it again, if you win 4 out of 5, there's nothing left to prove. Clay, I believe, is a free agent.
He is.
Clay's dad is still the radio commentary guy for the Lakers. What more, I don't know, family, nostalgia.
Legacy.
Yeah, just
all that good stuff.
Yeah, to play.
I don't think that's.
I'm just going down the rabbit hole. I mean, I obviously don't know what's going to happen that far with, and Clay's great, but Clay's not like KD. Like, he's not on that level where, people would care if he left, in the big picture. But
I think Clay, being the savvy and intelligent player and guy that he is in general, I think he would be a lot more likely to transition from out of a situation that may be starting to slow down due to age, fatigue, attrition, whatever, into a growing situation where instead of being the number one in like Memphis or somewhere, okay, he's a 2 or 3 level guy with the other most powerful franchise in the conference.
Yep. And who knows? Maybe he can wear his dad's number. Like, I mean, I don't know. It's just that sort of stuff I could see Clay tugging it, and I could see, that the Golden State run kind of. But again, we'll see.
Right.
That's down the rabbit hole.
And let me get your opinion on this since you called this so early. How much, if any, credit do you attribute to Magic for all this?
Oh, a lot of it, and not Magic the GM, because he fucking sucks, right? It's Magic the businessman. LeBron said it. He wanted to be the first billionaire basketball player. The Beats by Dre. Like, his hands are in everything, right? The guy owns 2 houses in Brentwood. 2. Like, his sports agency's there. It's the movies, the producing. You saw the writing on the wall. The one person that was the most influential or successful from going to hoops, playing, to business. It's Magic, without a doubt.
By far.
I mean, Jordan got his while he was playing. And
you mentioned Kemba Walker a second ago. Like, look at the situation of the Hornets in juxtaposing Jordan as the owner versus Magic as the executive. The Panthers in the same city, Charlotte, which is a growing city, by the way. Like, Charlotte is basically becoming the next version of Atlanta.
Yes.
The Panthers went to a Super Bowl while the Hornets couldn't even scratch 500 in a pathetic.
Yeah. I mean, Jordan made some awful picks. But Magic, like you saw that, like you saw, LeBron's, one of his close advisors is Warren Buffett. Like, he's a business mogul. Like it's, he talks with Cuban. Like his mind is much more vast than just hoops. And the writing was on the wall that the one dude in Hollywood, and Magic owns movie theaters, part of the Dodgers, part of the Lakers. Like his fingers are in everything, in the biggest entertainment city in the world. What more do you want?
If and when he transitions away from the Lakers, like, he might run for mayor, and he would win.
I mean, I don't know if he wants to get political, but I mean, he might. And I do think there is a timeline. I do think that he will retire when Bronny gets drafted. I think Bronny's rookie year will be his last year. Whether they play together or against each other, I think LeBron said that's one of his, most treasured goals.
Right.
To have his son. And apparently, from the clips I've seen, the dude's a baller. Now, granted, the highlight films, I look great in my own highlight film, but
yeah, I mean, he's.
And apparently he's on the same. Apparently he's on the same private school team as Gary Payton. Gary Payton's son.
Okay, I got to look into that. But I mean, yeah, he's. I mean, shit, you're LeBron James' kid, and all the evidence is there that you're going to be a prodigy. See, no disrespect to them because they have other business ventures. They're very successful, but you could look at the clips of Jordan's kids playing and say, okay, yeah, it's nice, but
they didn't want it.
Yeah. Bronny and LeBron is a different situation.
Yep.
Like, you look at this kid, like, he's what, 12 or 13?
Yeah,
or
13.
Like, you can tell right now, like, oh shit, when puberty happens and this kid grows a foot and gains 60 pounds.
And he's going to do that in sunny LA, not cold Ohio. Now, granted, I'm sure they'll visit on the weekends or the holidays, but I mean, this decision was much more than basketball. It was, family business, and
it was the perfect storm of things that had to happen. I mean, not to discredit your prediction at all, but I would argue that the Kyrie departure was the first domino for him to really be like, okay, this whole LA thing, this idea that's been in the back of my head, now it's slowly becoming a reality. Because
and when Cleveland botched the deal that they were originally going to deal Kyrie to Phoenix, and I believe get Bledsoe, when that deal, it was going to be Bledsoe and George, and when that deal fell through, Kyrie got word, he got pissed, I want out. And I get it because, you were a pivotal person in that championship team, and they're trying to trade you. So when that deal fell through, they had to deal Kyrie, and that's when the house of cards collapsed, and then you have J.R. Smith forgetting the score, and just when you see LeBron on the bench, and he asked Ty Lue if we had a timeout, like, yeah, we had a timeout, and you just saw the frustration, you knew he was out. Like, that's. However, what's interesting is if they win that series, does he leave?
To be perfectly honest, man, when you consider the contract situation between Tristan Thompson and J.R.
It's awful.
Even if Golden State had one of the most epic postseason collapses in NBA history, and that paltry Cleveland roster somehow pulled it off,
I still think he leaves.
Yeah, let's say that they win that pivotal game one and momentum is completely just shut to shit, he still leaves.
Yeah.
Because in that scenario, okay, not only have I kept my promise,
I gave you another one.
I got you another one against arguably the best assembled team ever.
Yep.
Cleveland, I don't know you shit.
And to be honest,
love, peace.
And to be honest, Cleveland fans, they cannot even be mad. They can't. No. A big gambling buddy of mine said Vegas already has a props out. Who's going to win more games next year, Cleveland Cavs or the Browns? See, everybody. Okay, my initial reaction was Browns.
I think the Browns can put up a 4-12. I honestly do.
I mean, I don't. Now, granted, Cavs have to play 82 games, but that roster is going to be putrid. Ryan Sexton, right?
Ooh.
Colin Sexton.
Yeah.
You're up, buddy. Anyway,
yeah.
Good times.
If you're a Cleveland faithful, I'm not gonna lie. It is a rough time right now. But the thing is, the first time they were blindsided.
This time they knew.
Anyone who's savvy and intelligent could see it coming. Whether or not they saw it coming in the form of LA or Philly,
doesn't matter. A departure is a departure.
It's gone. And we can go ahead and kind of wrap things up with this. Let me just pose this question to you. If you are a fan of a Houston or a Boston or any of the other teams that were close to a conference finals or a finals, what do you make of this?
If you're Houston, I would be more worried about their internal team rather than what LA is doing, for the fact that they obviously lost Ariza. They're going to lose Capella. I hope Houston fans realize that when Chris Paul is 38, he's going to make like $42 million a year. Just hope they realize that's the bed they laid in. Their chance died when they missed 27 straight threes. If you're Boston, you're throwing a fucking party because you have the squad to run the East from now until Jason Tatum's contract expires. Like they are set. And that's why Danny Ainge lowballed Kawhi. Like from what I read, the Kawhi offer, they offered Rozier, Marcus Smart, and the Kings first rounder for Kawhi. And Pop obviously hung up the phone because that's but again, they don't need Kawhi. Like that was just an asset. It's cool. Like when you were a game 7 against LeBron with Morris almost practically starting, like, come on. They get Kyrie back. They're going to get Gordon back. Tatum, Jalen, Horford, they are loaded. Like, now granted, Philly's coming, but they just lost two key pieces today. Bellinelli went back to San Antonio, and Ilyasova went to Milwaukee. So and granted, Markelle Fultz couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. And tell me why he's not playing in Summer League. He doesn't want to play. Get better. It's more reps.
Him not playing in Summer League is as ridiculous as, and I'm a big Ben Simmons fan. You guys know that. But Markelle Fultz not playing in Summer League is just as ridiculous as Ben Simmons messing around with Kendall Jenner.
Yeah, it's completely. It's just I don't. The day after Boston lost, Jaylen Brown and Tatum are back in the gym. Markel Fultz is like, I don't want to play in summer league. You need to play in summer league. You're broken. Like you're airballing free throws in practice.
You gotta you gotta get a form and then you gotta fix it. It's not just fixing the form. You gotta get one first.
I mean, at this point, it's so far in his head. I mean, I don't. But you know, whatever. But yeah, if you're Philly, if you're Boston, you're throwing a parade because it's like the Wicked Witch of the West.
Yeah,
like he's no longer there.
Low key, if you're a part of our friends to the north in Toronto, you're low key happy too because now the dinosaur is out of your conference.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, hopefully they'll do something with that squad. That's. I think they're too damaged mentally to even. I mean, if they played a healthy Boston squad, they would get swept
easily.
That's yeah.
But I mean, you know, Bron out of conference means okay. Now we only have one big.
There's one.
Yeah, man. No, it's. I mean, like I say when I started, it's tremendous news. It's exciting.
Once in a generation type news. Like, granted, it happened when he left from Miami, but that was kind of already pre-orchestrated. Like, this is Hollywood. Like, it's the perfect time with Hollywood, your Warriors, the free agent movements. Like, this is different than 08.
Yeah. You know, it's obviously the future of the Warriors is a big factor, but just hypothetically speaking, just for the sake of argument, let's say that the fatigue and attrition that we started to already see with the Warriors really becomes a factor and an element, and the turnover with all those free agents that you mentioned next season all comes together like they probably are easily capable of making it come together. You know, the league, the television sponsors and partners,
absolutely
every fan base in general, even though they'll be rooting for their teams to get in, obviously, that LeBron-led Lakers versus Kyrie-led.
It's fantastic. It's especially with the whole legalized gambling. Just throw that in there. LA bought it's disgusting. It's fantastic, and I cannot wait to watch.
Yeah, it's gonna be some pretty slick shit. I'll put it to you like that. But yeah, folks. So yeah, we're gonna wrap this up here. Obviously, this is just part one of our LeBron to LA reaction. The traditional Sports Wars podcast is going to be coming up later on this week, so be on the lookout for that upload. David, do you have any shout outs?
Just Cover 3 fantasy football, it's coming on. I got 4 or 5 pages of notes. I've already called Brandon, co-host, as well as Zach. We got some shit popping. We're going to do a trial run probably middle of this month, and then we will get started probably second week of August, and it'll be in installments. So we'll have strategy, then we'll run through quarterbacks, then we'll run through running backs, and then as the weeks progress, if you guys have questions, comments, concerns, whatever, throw it at us. If you don't like analytics and you're dyslexic, I wouldn't view. It's
no, I think it's going to be. I'm really looking forward to it. I mean, obviously, we're going to be promoting it.
My number one reason for doing it, it's not to be debatable, right? It's not going to be like that whole scan and ship thing. Like, we're not really going to argue. We just want you, the viewers, the listeners, to be informed, and we hope that you win your league. Just, if whatever we say can pick up that free agent that, makes a run, or you get, that one guy that you were reaching for in the 6th round, as opposed to, your homer pick. We just want the public to be informed. That's all. Okay. Or I do, because none of y'all will be in my league, so I don't even care.
Yeah, no, it's going to be dope, man. I personally have learned a lot from you with regard to that over the years. So to see that on a much wider scale is going to be tremendous. Outside of that, I do want to give a personal shout out to LeBron James. Although I am not a Cavalier or Heat or Cavalier or Laker fan, As an individual talent, I think the guy is one of the best ambassadors for a sport probably throughout
Ever.
American history. And I do want to give a second shout out to a lot of people who have short-term memory, because as you can imagine, being a Bay Area guy, a lot of my friends down south and Laker fans here are blowing up my inbox, but don't have short-term memory with regard to who the current
That is true.
champions are.
They got the Hampton. What is it? The Hampton
The
crew.
Hampton Five.
The Hampton Five. Yeah,
Hampton
that's
Five.
just they really need to trademark that and make shirts, like literally, like that's.
I'm not too much of a catchphrase T-shirt guy, but best believe I will have one and I'll wear it on this show. That's all we got for you folks. Like I said, be on the lookout for these uploads on our Sports Wars YouTube channel. If you're not a part of our Sports Wars Facebook community, make sure you change that, and we will catch you later. Deuce.
Tom Brady's the GOAT.